Hi, Peter.
Hi, welcome.
Karibu.
Good to see you. Thank you so
Good to
much.
see you too.
How is it going?
Very well.
How are the children?
They are fine.
Good, good, good. The impact of policy reform and the legislative changes in the country has an interesting mix of responses, because we have some that have embraced them quite well, especially those organizations that are already involved in some components of care reform and alternative care. But then also we have the other big percentage of actors that have been very negative and resistant. And we attribute it to the fact that they feel they were not involved from the very onset in arriving at these decisions and the likes. And they have not taken the pronouncements very well.
We heard about the policy changes. It was a year ago. That's when this conversation started picking up.
My first reaction was a little bit of worry, to be honest, because I don't think the Kenyan government has systems in place yet that will allow us to remove children from institutions while safeguarding their best interests.
You have good institution, you have bad institution. So there are some institutions that don't want to release children because to them, children is equals to money. Now you have other children's home whereby the managers and director, they become so attached to the children to an extent they don't want to release the children. And then you have the biggest problem is, where do we take these children?
The role of child in family focus in supporting these changes and working alongside children's homes has mostly been just bringing to their understanding what really this entails. What do these changes mean to their day-to-day operations? And just getting to come to the level of children's homes and get to have that conversation with them as to why this is important. And not forgetting that child in family focus comprises of care experienced staffers, and telling them what it was like for us growing up in children's homes and why we feel that this is the right direction the government is taking. The child in family focus approach that has worked quite some wonders in getting orphanage directors or children's homes to want to engage with us and continue working with us has mostly been one of creating a relationship and not coming in like we are agents of government, but coming in as friends. Our early attempts as an organization in engaging children's homes was very directed at trying to get them to know what options exist for children, but also going down to the children's homes and sort of taking them through some sessions on why families are important, what the issues are with institutional care, what the outcomes are based from our own lived experiences. And what we found is a lot of the orphanages that we worked with, we trained around 15 orphanages. And out of 15 orphanages, only 5 actually took this very well. But then the trick to us was more about the follow-up and the consistency. Critical for us as an organization is just creating that relationship and ensuring that we make ourselves available and at the disposal of the orphanage directors, should they have any questions, should they need any continued support, and also just getting to make them know that this has nothing to do with closing the orphanage, but a lot of it has to do with just transitioning and changing the way they care or the way they do things. What has worked is that when you go in as friends, when you go in as one who wants to journey alongside, when you go in as one who wants to empower and sort of capacity build, then they are very receptive because they see there's something you're offering.
When Peter came with his group, they don't start with demonizing or saying children don't need to be in institution and all that. And no, they come with a complete different approach. And the approach is first getting to understand your organization and your framework and how you operate, and then starting to see what kind of help you need and how they can chip in.
First and foremost, affirm them. Affirm them for the years they have invested in this work. Affirm them for the things they've had to endure. Affirm them for the care they have extended to these children for the time they've been doing it. So when you're able to start by affirming, and then you now move to the direction of what are the research findings or outcomes or lived experiences regarding this kind of care, then you've won their hearts first. Then you've made them your friends. And then now you're actually now going to the technical bits. But at the same time, not making it also too technical, help them connect these findings to the very children that they are taking care of. We've also found one message of a retrospective look. You know, think of from the time you started this work, how many children have you gotten out of your home and where are they at? What are the outcomes? So that you bring that reality closer home. And we've been amazed at the answers that have come forth from these people is that, oh, actually, one struggled in this way or the other. Another one had a problem adjusting because of reasons, A, B, and C. We've seen how they run for attention when a visitor comes. We've seen how when they don't get that attention, they would sit isolated. And we were able to sort of tell them, yeah, so right at your doorstep, there's an issue that needs looking at. What has not worked is definitely the demonizing. When you come in and you are sort of telling them what you're doing is wrong, you're not doing things right, or it's harmful for children. When you go in telling them the government has made this pronouncement and you have to toe the line, etc., that sort of negative approach definitely doesn't work, and their reaction is a very guarded response, and they would stop engagement at that point. The type of support Child in Family Focus provides during this transition is really, number one, be the listening, be the caring partner. Secondly, network them. Thirdly, bring in some technical, expertise. Avail the tools that are existent for this work.
They are able to give us a complete framework of how things are supposed to be done, which is very helpful. And they are able to connect us to people that are willing either to adopt or to give foster care, and also guardianship. Also
the encouragement, yes. The encouragement we have been getting from them, it has been to motivate us to do better and better, so that has been really good.
The key things we need to know as an organization about children's homes, the management, that play a role in influencing how the communication goes, first and foremost is understanding where are they coming from, who really is driving this, understanding who their donors are, understanding their motivation, understanding the push factors that actually have led to the children being under their care, and sort of just trying to get into their shoes for purposes of just knowing what drives them. And that way, for us, you are able to sort of then know the best approach to take. Understand also, are they registered with the government? What is their status? Because you find that those that actually are not registered will not want to engage further. One of the key things that also you need to know when you go into an orphanage, so that it influences or affects the way you message, is the religious affiliation. Mostly we found that, for example, if it is an orphanage that has a Christian leaning, you are able to sort of customize the messaging to that particular faith's teachings. If it is one that is of the Muslim leaning, then you're also able to know what specific excerpts from their Quran work and are supportive for families and children being in families. As to whether we've had a situation where that approach has not worked, we have, yes. And a lot of it is when the people you're dealing with are not the ones who have the bigger say. And the fact that they have to pass the message on to their donor or on to their main benefactor, that of course we've seen has been a bit of a challenge, because you are having a talk with the people on the ground, but the ones who are calling the shots from elsewhere have not been engaged. As an organization, it's been very much, especially owing to capacity, work with the ones who you find are willing, and especially in a case like the Wanalea home, which we've engaged with from early June this year, is you have dealt with directly with the people that are calling these shots, and we find that that has been very helpful. But then not forgetting that it is them that actually reached out to us at the beginning. So work with the willing and let it be an opportunity to show those that are skeptical, that are sort of suspicious. Let them see a working example.